President, fellow Toastmasters, and excuse me, honoured guests, congratulations, you are not dead. I know, looking around the room at your fellow Toastmasters, some of you may doubt that statement, but let me reassure you, they're mostly alive, and that's brilliant news because it's the theme of my speech tonight, brought on by the example of a very interesting gentleman who you may recognise as follows. The very dexterous
Putin.
President Putin of Russia. Pictures have been discovered, as you see, which prove beyond any doubt whatsoever that President Putin never ages and is in fact immortal. Now, I'm quite big on the idea of not dying. How great would it be to be immortal, to have all the time in the world? Or would it? Let's think about that. First of all, I think we ought to have some rules. What does immortality actually mean? Well, to me, I think immortality means to live forever. You cannot die. You cannot have injuries. You cannot have illnesses. You cannot age. And even if you wanted to, you cannot die. I can see some really fantastic benefits with that. If I couldn't die, I could set myself up as a superhero. I could have a really great costume. I would run into burning buildings and rescue people. Crowds would cheer me. Women would adore me. Cool. And if it wasn't sexy enough being a superhero, well, I can embrace my dark side. I've got lots of that. I could become a supervillain and rob banks, and a different sort of woman might adore me. Cool. And even if I was arrested for robbing banks or wearing inappropriate costumes, and I was sent to jail, well, that wouldn't really bother me because I'm immortal, and time was passed and my jail sentence would be up in the blink of an eye. What else? Well, investments. I can invest 1 cent, and in time it would be worth millions and billions of euros. Except if I invested in a Cypriot bank, perhaps, and then maybe I'd own one. But there are probably downsides. Contrary to what you may believe looking around this room, the human race is still evolving. And that could be a problem for me because nobody knows what the future will be for superhuman beings. And I, in a million years, will still be walking around in this body today. In a million years, I'll have just about worked out how to chop up women. But to them, in a million years, I'll look like this. I'll almost be a different species. And Mother Nature doesn't like interspecies breeding, which is why there's none of these fellows around today. So I don't think I'll get much loving in the future either. What else? Nobody can ever find out. Imagine that your neighbours notice that you never age. Word spreads and suddenly, oops, sorry, you're famous. I hope you'll be in jail there. You're famous. Now that might sound good for a moment. You might get your own TV reality show, but hang on a minute. Why are you famous? Well, you're not just famous. You're a god. You've discovered the secret to eternal life. You are like a man who declares himself as Jesus and can prove it. And if that's not bad enough, imagine all the governments and crime syndicates, all the wealthy and powerful people who live in this world today, whose money can't buy them immortality, but they'll be hunting you down because what pumps through your veins could give them eternal life. If you think about the wars that have been fought for oil, they'll be after you. But let's say you give them the slip and successfully keep your secret under wraps with a series of new identities. Well, it's going to be awfully hard to keep track of all these because you've got another problem. You're still getting older mentally. The human brain has only got so much room to store information in it. If you live an ordinary mortal lifespan, it's not a problem. But once you're getting 1,000,000 years old, remembering your telephone number, my goodness, I couldn't find where I put the keys I put down 10 minutes ago before we came tonight. It's going to be a problem. Imagine that you go onto the internet and you see your mum's browser screen with all the icons in it. You can't remember. You just can't remember all those things. So there'll be no room for memories and storage. But in the end, there are even some more sobering thoughts to consider about immortality. In all likelihood, the world is going to end. The human race will cease to exist. And sadly, that will mean all your friends, family and loved ones, you'll outlive them all. So I believe that, Toastmasters, I don't think I want to be immortal, but I do think that I would like a little more time. Thank you.